Hello and welcome to A FAB Journey. Hi, I'm Paul, the guy behind A FAB Journey. And what is a flesh and blood showdown? Well, LSS do a pretty good job of drip feeding announcements to us, don't they? Let's be honest, we seem to get sort of one meaty announcement each week. Look, I'm not saying that every single announcement impacts the whole playing community. And if it did, well, we would be, it would be a bit crazy, wouldn't it? Having stuff happening all of the time like that. But and as I posted that before, you might have seen my sort of reaction to LL bans that I did a few weeks ago, where basically, look, it doesn't really matter because none of us play LL where we are, but on that one. Anyway, they do a good job of keeping the news cycle going, which is good for us content creators because it means we've got something to talk about, but it also keeps people engaged as well, which is the whole point. Oh, I guess the whole point of the way they do this. I think they do a pretty good job of that, by the way. So this week, what have LSS talked about? Well, they've been talking about the World Tour points, as well as clarifying the definition of what is a part of the sort of World Tour program or the window of it. Look, we're still getting World Championships, we're still getting Pro Tours and calling events. So let's be honest, on the face of it, this would be one of those announcements that I would put into the not relevant to average player bin. Let's be honest on that one. Look, I mean, this announcement did include a whole bunch of stuff that does go into that bin, such as what the qualification periods are for different tournaments, what the points will be, which points will be included, how those points will be different at different events. Now, all of that kind of stuff is important for your professional players and you're aspiring, or if you're aspiring to be one, let's be honest. But in reality, for most of us, it really doesn't make any kind of impact. However, they did also announce, as part of pointing out the points bit, over on the right-hand side there, you'll see that points get given for the World Championship, Pro Tour calling, and Showdown events. Now, they did say in this that you might be wondering what a Showdown is, but that's a story for after the keynote in Philadelphia. So there you go. So they've announced that they're going to have Showdown events, but they've not told us what one is. And we're going to find out in the next 2 weeks, let's be honest. So you can either wait until then to find out what one is for certain, or we can have a good dose of speculation and having some fun speculating. So yes, let's speculate on what a Showdown is going to be. And guess what? I'm not the only person that is speculating. Other people are as well. Over on Reddit, for example, there is a post that says, looks like Showdown is the new skirmish, which I think we're fairly safe to say is not the case. Because if we look at how the World Tour is set up currently, you've got 4 tiers worth of events. And at the top there, you've got the World Championship and Pro Tour in that tier 4, and calling in tier 3. Now, skirmish is a tier 1 event. It's right at the bottom there. The other 3 events that are apart from Showdown that are going to be giving points are all in those top 3 and 4 tiers. So clearly, so I think we can pretty much say that it is not going to be that Showdown will be a tier 3 event. Not a tier 1 event like skirmishes currently are. So yeah, that speculation I think we can kind of shoot down straight away. Some people have been suggesting it's going to be replace Battle Hardens, but look, we've already got Battle Hardens announced for December and January that are already scheduled. Now let's be honest, they knew they were making this announcement probably 6 to 12 months ago. Basically, when they were organising those Battle Hardens, is my guess. So surely you wouldn't have booked those events if you knew the format, you were going to kill the format. Now people have said, look, they have put Blitz in for Skirmish 13, even though Blitz is going away. But that's kind of like, that's a last hurrah, isn't it? That's the final party for that format. It's a bit different in this case. So again, I don't think that we're looking at this being a replacement for Battle Hardens either on that one. My initial thought was, look, if we go back to that points layout, you'll see that the World Championship gives points down to 64th place, Pro Tours down to 64th place as well, callings down to 32nd place, and Showdown only down to 4th. So really restricted number of people are getting points. And look, you get more points for coming 64th in the World Championship than you will do for winning a Showdown. So a much smaller kind of event. I thought I saw that. So was this going to be a small field of only 4 to 8 people, kind of like an invite-only event? Also, look, on the chat groups I've been in, people have been talking about watching the streamed events from various callings and enjoying those. So with those sort of things sort of circling around my mind, what I thought they might be doing with the Showdown is having an event where they invite 4 to 8 of the top players. It's specifically a for streaming event rather than an in-person event, a bit like you have pro poker kind of stream tournaments. And the idea being that we're going to build up a kind of viewing audience and aim at doing that rather than the playing audience. With 4 to 8 people, look, it's not 2 days worth of games like a calling is. You could watch over a few hours, so it could become much more of a viewing experience than and actually designed as a for TV, as it were, even though it'd be via YouTube. On second thought, so this goes against the whole ethos of Flesh and Blood, doesn't it? When you think one of the quotes from their website is, "We hope to see you soon in the flesh and blood," i.e. in person. The whole point of this is about playing in person. And about building communities, that side of things. So to me, actually, I think I was heading in totally the wrong direction with that. But I don't think it's a crazy idea. I think it's something a different company would try, but I think it doesn't feel like the right kind of fit for LSS and for kind of the direction that they want to take things in. Let's be honest on that one. And then we were chatting about it in our local chat group, and I think James has really nailed it on the head with what it is going to be. Oops, let's get the picture up for those of you who are watching rather than listening. James said, "I wonder if they'll do like a regional showdown for the local top players, kind of evolution of the store champs." And the store champs was the Project Blue trial run equivalent in New Zealand, i.e. because Project Blue obviously grew up into being Sage or Silver Age. Maybe they were using New Zealand as a test bed for this new format or this new type of tournament. And it was kind of like then that I kind of realized that that's exactly what that was very similar to what I predicted was going to happen about 3 weeks ago when I posted something on to Reddit. I posted my vlog up there of attending my trip to go and attend and take part in the Store Championship qualifier over in Hamilton. And on there, someone put a comment on my post saying, this is Freudinho, who said, "While I would love something similar for my country, I think it's cool that LSS doesn't forget where it all started. Cool stuff." My response to him was, "Thank you." It was always nice to get that kind of comment. And then I put, "Also remember that New Zealand can be a testing ground. For example, they tested a form of Sage here before releasing it as a major format, so they might be doing that with this series as well. Who knows, there might be one in your country next year." So there you go. Great minds think alike and all of that kind of thing. I'd just forgotten that I'd made that kind of connection already. So for those you don't know, what is the store championship? Well, LSS invited 8 stores in Aotearoa to take part in the store championship qualifiers. The winners of those 8 tournaments will get flown up to Auckland to take part in the finals at LSS's studios in December. So it's kind of like a mini national championship at the end of the day. I'm guessing they decided not to use national championships. Well, for 2 reasons. One, to actually get another set of tournaments in to do something in the second half of the year. National championships happening in the first half of the year, maybe. And also the level of national championships across different countries is so varied and so different that actually winning the US national champs isn't the same as winning, say, the Italian or the Bulgarian or the New Zealand national champs. The field is so much bigger. So this way they can basically clump up or chunk up the world into a much more even level of championships. So, for example, you might get the East Coast Showdown and the West Coast Showdown in the USA, whereas you'll only get the New Zealand Showdown in New Zealand. You won't get a North Island, South Island one, for example. Do I think that the Showdown finals will remain small events that can happen in places like the LSS's studios? I think this might come down to where they're being held, right? On that kind of thing. A bit like Nationals. I think the Nationals events are different in different places. Nationals finals, that is, national championships. Sorry, depending on how big the playing community is around there. So I wouldn't be surprised if they are a bit bigger than that, and they do put events around them. Now look at I must admit, I hadn't looked into Battle Hardens and how much was around those. So initially I thought, oh look, Battle Hardens have a similar kind of setup as Callings. Well, they don't. I quickly figured out that there isn't the full suite of side events that you get at Callings. So I think there will be some side events, but not as big as Callings. I think it will be a level down from that, but I think you will get some sort of side events next to the bigger ones of them, like the ones in the USA, for example, on that one. As doing this, I actually checked out what the schedule was for the New Zealand Nationals, National Championships, and the sort of side events they have around that. And that's definitely whetted my appetite to attend that next year. Let's be honest, I'm not expecting to qualify for the main event, but it might be fun to go and do that anyway. Go to some of the smaller ones. Look, my budget is not very big, so if it isn't a South Island, I probably can't afford to go, to be honest with you. Hopefully, it's in the upper North Island where I can get to. But we'll have to wait and see where they actually host that. So do you think that James and I have nailed it? That actually the Showdown is going to be a version of the Store Championships, but just in different countries, or do you think a Showdown is going to be something else entirely? You let me know down in the comments below. Always up for a good old chat. Please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and all of that lovely stuff to help the channel grow.